During this lesson, we will discuss detailed templates, their properties, and their joint behavior. Detailed templates extract data from the innermost levels. In case of a single level of data, a detailed template is the only one you would need. One detailed template is always there, because nothing can be extracted without it. Let's initialize our first template from any of these lines. You can highlight a line by clicking on it with the right mouse button, and then select Set up Tabular Fields from the pop-up menu. All commands are also available on the toolbar. Let's set the field names from this top line. The template property editor is located in the middle of the screen. Please note that all property editors are collapsible, so if you do not see one of them, try to expand the editor's pane. Template name, which is shown on the Templates tab, is used to identify and access a template from script and calculated fields. Type property defines whether it's a detailed or a top-level template. We'll learn about top-level templates in the coming tutorials. Role property has three possible values: mandatory, optional, and manual. Manual role should be used in conjunction with scripting. We will discuss it later on in advanced topics. You will need to worry about mandatory or optional roles only when you have more than one detailed template. Let's look at the following sample, which has division and address information, in addition to the previous layout. We will handle this additional information with a second detailed template. I'm adding another template and setting it up from these three lines. We call such templates multi-line. I'll make the template more precise by requiring that the first field should have the word division. The second template was added as optional, meaning that the first mandatory template will generate output records even when data for the second template is missing. However, if we make the second template mandatory, the output records with missing division and address information will disappear. Thus, in case of mandatory templates, output records will not be generated if input data is missing for any of them, but missing input data for optional templates does not affect the output record generation. In the sample, two input records are written into a single output record. Let's consider a case when we need detailed templates to create output records independently. I will clean up the second template and drop another input sample. This input file has two different data layouts, but the data itself has the same structure. The first template works for the top layout. Let's use the second template for the bottom layout. I'm using tagged fields to set up this template. This top line is picked up by the template because it has field tags in it. I'll use the template's exclude filter to filter this line out. To force templates creating output records independently, output fields need to be connected to the input fields of both templates. We can add additional input fields to the existing output connections by connecting with Ctrl key pressed. Each output field is now connected to both input fields. The output consists of records created by the first and second templates. Let's continue with other templates properties. Tabular layout modes. Fixed is the most frequently used mode. This mode works best when input data has fixed horizontal positions. Sometimes you will have cases with data shifting horizontally, like this. First, we need to set field names from the field headings, and then we change the mode to attached to headers. We finish the setup by adjusting the width of the last field. Delimited mode works in situations when you cannot rely on fixed horizontal positions, but data has delimiters between fields. Typical field delimiters are spaces, commas, tabs, but you can use any delimiters. Text qualifiers allow extracting text segments containing field delimiters. Manually define mode uses regular expressions to define input fields. Filtering. Let's look at the following problem. We have 3 data segments here. Let's assume we need only data for the year 2017. The template will pick up all the segments because their data layouts are identical. We'll use the vertical range filter to focus the template's attention on just one segment. All data outside of the vertical range will be ignored. Please note that using 2018 as a range limit is tricky. It appears multiple times in the input document. To resolve the problem, we note the right boundary of this text segment and use it as a horizontal limit. Now only the desired data is extracted. Skip lines property allows to ignore ranges of lines. Regular expressions can be used to define skipping conditions. Include and exclude filters. An input line will be processed by a template only if it satisfies a regular expression specified by an include mask. Conversely, an input line will be excluded from the processing if it satisfies a regular expression specified by an exclude mask. Record boundaries behave similar to the vertical range, but they work on a per record basis. Frequency property defines how frequently a template should try to extract its data. Multi-column setup is useful for dealing with newspaper-like layouts when similar data formats are arranged in columns. You need to set up just one column. Check the multi-column option on and specify the locations of other columns. Exclusive input line property hides a line processed by this template from all other templates, making lines data exclusive to this template. The last, disabled property, is useful for debugging purposes when you need to turn one or more templates off. This lesson is finished. The next tutorial will cover the properties and behavior of input fields.